Kal Halal, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Ruhakadesh, Kwam to all Josharala. Greetings to all the Israelites. Alright, family, we never quench the spirit. So, this was definitely led by the spirit as I was, about to call it a night. It just led me to the book of Habakkuk, which is what times that we're living now. So, let's get edified. The prophet's question. It says, the burden which the prophet Habakkuk saw. O Yahweh Elohim, how long shall I cry and you will not hear, even cry out to you violence and you will not save? Why do you show me iniquity and cause me to see trouble? For plundering and violence are before me. There is strife and contention arise. Therefore the law is powerless and justice never goes forth. For the wicked surround the righteous. Therefore perverse judgment proceeds. Yeah, these bullshit laws, man. They biased laws of Esau. The Lord's reply says, look amongst the nations and watch, be utterly astounding. For I will work a work in your days, which are now, which you will not believe though it were told to you. For indeed I am rising up the Chaldeans, that's, Babylon, man, Esau, man, fucking devil, man. A bitter and hasty nation which marches through the breadth of the earth to possess dwelling places that are not theirs. Yeah, exactly. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity proceed from themselves. Their horses also are swifter than leopards and more fierce than even wolves. Their chargers charge ahead. Their cavalry comes from afar. They fly as the eagle that hastens to eat. Yeah, the American eagle. Glorified be your name. They all come for violence. Their faces are set like the east wind. They gather captives like the sand. They scoff at kings, and princes are scorned by them. They deride every stronghold, for they heap up earthen mounds and seize them. then his then his mind changes, and he transgresses. He commits offense, ascribing this power to his God. Yeah, you know who his God is, man. Fucking Baal, man, the sun, man, sun worshiping Edomite devils, man. It's just basically, just describing Esau for you, how they how they go to all four corners of the world, conquering. They're friends with certain people, like for example, they sponsored Saddam Hussein back in the '80s, and then they turned on him. For example, amongst the many victims. Let's proceed. The prophet's second question. Are you not from the everlasting, O Yahweh my Elohim, my Holy One? We shall not die. O Lord, you have appointed them for judgment. O Rock, you have marked them for correction. You are of pure eyes, then to behold evil, and cannot look on wickedness. Why do you look on those who deal treacherously, and hold your tongue when the wicked devour a person more righteous than he? Why do you make men like fish of the sea, like creeping things that have no ruler over them? They take up all of them with a hook. They catch them in their net and gather them in their dragnet. Therefore they rejoice and are glad. Therefore they sacrifice to their net and burn incense to their dragnet, because by them their share is sumptuous and their food plentiful. Shall they therefore empty their net and continue to slay nations without pity? I will stand my watch and set myself on the rampart and watch to see what he will say to me and what I will answer when I'm corrected. Basically, Habakkuk, the prophet is asking the Most High why he's allowing, this last piece, Esau, the UN nations to do what they do, And here it is. It says here, the just live by faith. Then the Most High answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. This is the time now. But at the end it will speak and it will not lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold the proud, his soul is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Woe to the wicked, it says. Indeed, because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, and he does not stay at home, because he enlarges his desire as hell, and he is like death and cannot be satisfied. He gathers to himself all nations, and heaps up for himself all people. Esau, man, always getting the upper hand on people. Will not all these take up a proverb against him, and taunting riddle against him, and say, woe to him who increases what is not his, how long? And to him who loads himself with many pledges. Will not your creators rise up suddenly? Will they not awaken who oppresses you? And you will become their booty, because you have plundered Many nations, all the remnants of the people, should plunder you because of men's blood and the violence of the land and the city and all who dwell in it. Woe to him who covets evil gain for his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of disaster. You give shameful counsel to your house, cutting off many people, a sin against your soul. For the stone will cry out from the wall, and the beam from the timbers will answer it. Woe to him who builds a town with bloodshed, who establishes a city with iniquity. Behold, it is not of the Lord our Elohim did the people labor to feed the fire, and the nations weary themselves in vain. For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Most High, as the water covers. Woe to him who gives drink to his neighbor, pressing him to your bottle, even to make him drunk, that you may look on his nakedness. You are filled with shame instead of glory. You also drink and be exposed as uncircumcised. The cup of the Lord's right hand will be turned against you, and the utter shame will be on your glory. For the violence done to Lebanon will cover you, and the plunder of beasts which made them afraid, because of man's blood, and the violence of the land and the city, and all who dwell in it. What profit is in the image that its maker should carve it, and the molded image a teacher of lies, that the maker of its mold should trust in it, to make mute idols. Woe to him who says to wood, awake, to silent stone, arise, it shall teach. Behold, it is overlaid with gold and silver, yet in there is no breath at all, but the Most High is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Okay, I went too far because I wanted to finish chapter 2. Basically, the Most High is calling out the fact of how it is now that, there's so many different people from different nations, right here in, daughter of Babylon, and everybody, even the good Edomite people are dissing Esau, man. Everybody knows Esau's the devil, man. It's no secret, man. The all four corners of the world are exhausted of this motherfucker, man. Now it says, final chapter 3, the prophet's prayer. It says, a prayer of Habakkuk the prophet on Shigionoth. O Lord, I have heard your speech and was afraid. O Yahweh Elohim, revive your work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years make it known. In the wrath remember mercy. Yahweh came from Teman, from the Holy One, from the Mount Paran. Selah, his glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. His brightness was like the light, and he had rays flashing from his hand, and there his power was hidden. Before him went pestilence, and fever followed at his feet. But I'm going to stop it there for a minute. He's talking about, the beginning when it says, Teman and Mount Paran, that's when, we left Egypt and we went through those mountains. And now it says here, look, it says that, the glory covered the heavens and the brightness was like lightning. He's talking about the chariots, the bright colors of them. And it says here, the pestilence, and fevers followed at his feet. Well, right now we are having pestilence, fevers, and all that. So you should all know that the end is near. And he says here, look, let's proceed. He stood and measured the earth. It looked and startled the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills bowed. His ways are everlasting. I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Medium tremble. O Yahweh, you were you displeased with the rivers? Was your anger against the rivers? Was your wrath against the sea? That you rode on your horses, your chariots of salvation? Your bow was made quite ready. Bows were thrown over your arrows. Yes, he's talking about chariots of salvation, they're coming. You divided the earth with rivers. The mountains saw you and trembled. The overflowing of water passed by. The deep uttered its voice. It lifted its hands on high. The sun and the moon stood still in their habitation. In the light of your arrows they went at the shining of your glittering spear. Yeah, you're talking about the chariots and the laser and all the high-tech artillery that they have. You marched through the land in indignation. See, because they're the weapons of indignation. Glorify your name. You trampled the nations in anger. You went forth for the salvation of your people. Yeah, the remnant, the 1/3, for the salvations which were anointed. Yeah, he's talking about Yahweh Shai and the elect. You stroked the head from the house of the wicked by laying bare from the foundation to neck. Selah. You thrust through with his own arrows the head of his villages. They came out like a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoice was like feasting on the poor in secret. You walked through the sea with your horses, through the heap of great waters. When I heard, my body trembled. My lips quivered at the voice. rottenness entered my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he comes up to the people, he will invade them with his troops. And see, straight out, Prophet Habakkuk is telling you how it's going to go down, what's next. This is the times that we're living now. And it ends here with a hymn of faith. It says, though the fig tree may not blossom, nor fruit be on the vines, though the labor of the olives may be failed, and the field yields no food, though the flock may be cut off from the field, and there be no herd in the stalls, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will rejoice in Yahweh, Elohim of my salvation. The Elohim of my salvation is my strength. He will make my feet like deer's feet, and he will make me walk on my high heels, to the chief musician with my stringing instruments. That's basically saying that he's gonna preach the word, and give a sacrifice of praise to the Most High. This will definitely led by the Spirit. This is